Trump is about to walk out on RNC. Oh fuck! I baited you guys. I said, do you,
Trump's moment and the
I
crowd
think
went
so.
wild, and now he's.
I gotta pee. Now that you guys are on screen.
To the bandage on his ear. So let's listen in for a moment. Hear this
Take it from here.
It's bad. I don't know a single who these people. Single person.
Tell us about this guy with glass. Public internet.
Milwaukee.
Just about 10 o'clock
That's the
Eastern
city they're in,
time,
isn't
and this
it?
is prime time
I read
at the Republican
the
National
sign.
Convention, and former
Oh, apparently
President
Alexa's
Trump
muted.
has entered the building. He has appeared before the cameras.
Hello.
and
There we
in a
go.
moment now, he is going to walk
I know all
out
the
on
streaming
moves.
stage, and this crowd is ready to see him. Hallie, as we well know,
What
the former
is these? Someone
president
said, what are these
knows how
Aussies
to
that say
entertain
stupid
an
shit? I'm
audience. He knows
scrolling
how
up
to
for that
dazzle
one.
an audience. He's very
What the fuck
focused
is that? That
on
Aussie who
events
makes
like
stupid
this,
shit. Oh, that was nice.
choreograph
Thank
them
you.
to
Yes, I am.
stage them, to give the people what they want.
People
and
saying
you have to
things are
believe
going
he's
too fast.
I
happy
know,
with
it's
this
way
moment
too
tonight.
fast.
He understands the
There we go,
power
that's
of
free.
television, Savannah. He
Tiffany is
understands
hot.
the power of a moment,
Don't know
and
who
this
Tiffany
is
is.
the moment of the night.
But I agree with that chatter.
Right.
Oh,
Whoa.
Trump's here. Well, I want to see what his ear looks like. That's the thing I care about the
yeah.
most. I hope they do a close-up
Who is
of his
that?
ear. Who is that?
Is that Sydney Sweeney?
Is there any doubt who's going to be the next president of the United States?
Wait, did everyone just get shot in the ear to help out Trump? What's going on with that dude's ear?
Because he was sure, as Donald Trump turned his head just slightly,
Hey, he's got a
that the bullet
walkout
missed
song?
him just enough to save his life.
Alex,
to
there
be
is some
the next
Turkish in your
president of
eyes.
the
I can
United
see
States.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Don't lean into
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Believe for so
Don't get into his
long.
fucking Turkish revenges.
Dude.
Some changes in this
Dude, he
country.
is.
And
He
he's about
is.
to make a
He's
change.
fucking. He is either Kazakh or some kind of. He is Turkic.
I got the Turkish eyebrow.
He is.
Don't say
He's
this.
literally Turkic, bro. He's literally Turkic. Okay, I've been saying this.
Look at
and
his ear.
I'm
Sorry.
so glad that he's trying to change the. He's trying to misdirect because he's embarrassed about the Panturanist sentiment being expressed by his host here. Okay, we're gonna do a 23andMe on you, and we're gonna find out that you are.
You realize they genocided all these Armenians recently to get closer to you.
who,
The Turkish
what do you mean?
Russians.
What do you mean? who's me? Okay, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't do that.
Azerbaijani.
I wasn't in support of that. They did it with like Israeli weapons too.
Yeah, it was a team effort.
yeah. Turkey is a big fucking. Do you know Turkey controls 30% of all energy that goes into Israel, like all natural gas pipelines that go through Turkey from Azerbaijan?
So they could Gaza then.
No, literally they could.
Lucky stars to be living very,
Sounds like
very
Trump is
today.
singing.
'Cause the flag still stands.
Yeah, it's like they got the AI Hasan song.
Oh my God, he's crying. That's just coke eyes.
Oh my god.
Yes! I'm proud to be an American!
I know I'm free. I'm excited to see what his speech is going to be.
Hey, remember,
I don't know, I feel like you get pretty anxious in these moments, being in front of a crowd again. Like,
do you think he has PTSD?
I don't know,
That'd be pretty funny.
surely within like 2 days of getting shot in the
Dude,
ear.
no, lightning never strikes twice, bro. That'd be crazy if Donald Trump got shot again.
No, it's not going to happen, but it's going to be running through your head. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. I'd be constantly scanning for threats.
Bro, this is like UFC. This is home territory.
Imagine if they shot off his other ear.
Donald J. Trump as the next president of the United States.
Someone wrote he's got the ear my pillow.
He is here tonight to show his courage.
No, he's not gonna talk.
Against
What?
Somebody who tried to kill him.
What?
You will not take this man down. He has the courage, the strength.
He looks sad. He looks
and
sadder
he
than
will
usual.
be the next president of the United States.
Show us your ear.
From the way to Minnesota, to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to side.
Why does he look sad?
Yeah, I think he had a change of heart when he got
Bro,
shot,
he
and now he
looks-
hates being here.
I don't know if we're being parasocial right now, but he looks kind of baby girl. He looks kind of sad.
Trump.
That's a fake smile.
Oh my god, he looks like
He's like, I don't want to be a Republican anymore.
Wait, he's not talking?
No,
no. He's gonna talk on Thursday.
his breath's gonna smell so much. He doesn't talk till then. This would be so awkward. It's like when people sing you happy birthday in school.
Yeah, but if you're a narcissist, he's like kind of into that. I
He
suspect.
doesn't look like he likes it that much.
He does not like it. You can tell he does not fuck with this. Why is he?
This is his moment.
Take your flowers, Mr. President. Oh God.
Real.
Oh God. I don't even want to think about that, bro.
There's a chance you won't get set on fire. You don't tell a lie. You don't get caught.
That's why I haven't given you my stories yet.
Oh, can we film half an hour of a react after streaming?
What? Oh, you want to film it because I might die tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. We all gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm going overseas.
Yeah, we can do that.
Please welcome Mark Laws from Cedar Springs, Michigan.
There's not even a clip to the guy on the stage. They just keep watching Trump while this guy talks.
Dude, it's so funny that they're like, yeah, the violent rhetoric is really out of control with the Democrats, and then they're just like chanting fight, fight, fight every time. Like, I know what that means, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not like,
Just keep on trucking.
yeah, I'm not being like baby shit here, but it is still funny because like on that same metric, it's still violent.
Running mate, J.D. Vance, Ohio Senator, just named today, basks in the crowd's applause here. We're about to hear some more speeches, but for the moment, the crowd is
he's
chanting
banged.
USA. And a moment ago, as I
I think
Something
Trump's
is-
gonna pivot.
His vibes are different, dude.
Yeah.
His vibes are different. It's very different,
Dude,
noticeably.
I'd be pretty fucking anxious.
What?
I'd be anxious coming out in public. Like, I don't know. It's pretty
What if he
crazy
gets-
thing to happen to have like a near-death experience.
Yeah, he's actually a Maoist now.
Absolutely.
That's what I've
And
heard.
what's so
So
notable
good.
about that
Yeah,
is
he's
that is
he's
what-
pro Russia, which is the most Maoist nation on the planet. so that makes sense. That tracks. He shook Kim Jong-un's hand.
True.
That was pretty fucking Maoist third world is. I'm just saying, dude. He says Xi Jinping is sexy all the time, just like we do.
the type of tone that you're going to hear moving forward. You talked about the fact that he is someone who understands TV as a former reality TV star. This is the moment, this is the entrance that he was clearly hoping for, but how striking to see that bandage on his ear, a reminder how serious and somber the backdrop is to all of this.
No question about it. And in fact, we wondered, this is our first look, Hallie, at the former president. His son, Eric Trump, said today in an interview that he lost half of his ear, which I think perhaps, we'll see. We'll see.
That's
but
an exaggeration. No, we saw what he lost, bro. Come on, dude. That's
You think someone picked up his ear? Like a little bit of his ear? I would have done that.
Could
I would have been
could
like,
have changed everything. He might have lost his
pray
life.
to
In the
it.
hours after the shooting, that is
Wait,
something I
you
heard
read a
again
little
and
smack.
again as we were talking with people
You
who
get
were
his
there, members
powers?
of Congress, Republican supporters, that it was just a matter of a couple inches. That bandage is such a literal visual reminder of what the
God,
former
they're
president
so
has been through
fucking.
in that attempted
Oh God, I
assassination.
hate
So
I
that.
have to tell you.
creative.
Oh my God, that bandage is a reminder of the divine right for kings.
which was
Hassan, talk about your friend Kobe Co. Yo, fuck this Trump shit, bro.
What about Cody Cozy?
Yeah. What happened?
Don't talk about his ears.
This was the emotional crescendo of the day, absolutely, and likely the highest emotional peak that we will get until the former president speaks on Thursday night.
Now we have the former president listening in the VIP box, along with his family members, Senator Vance, House Speaker Mike Johnson.
And that is the Republican
fuck
Party.
is
Savannah.
Shannon
Think about this.
Doherty?
This is the third time in his political career that the former president has accepted the Republican nomination
about his
to run for the
donation.
White House here.
Cody Co
It wasn't
donated
like
to
this
what?
in 2016.
The House
party had
Live
not
broadcast at the top of the
united in
hour
this way
to
behind
help
him
people
then. Now
avoid
here we
seeing
are,
ads at the
flash
top of the
forward years
hour?
later, and
Is that his donation
visual,
that you're talking
image
about?
Of Donald
Fucking
Trump,
got him,
of
chatter.
His vice presidential
3-minute
pick,
ad break is upon you.
widely seen as the person who holds the mantle to the MAGA movement, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is backing former President Trump. They are clearly united, is what that says.
It also is striking to see former President Trump sitting next to his VP nominee for the first time, Savannah. The age difference is stunning, and I think it puts on display J.D. Vance,
Between who?
39 years old. The fact
VP
that
and
this
Trump.
is to some extent a generational pick, aimed at so many of the people in this country who said they're frustrated by this rematch. This is to some extent a way to reach out to those people. This is the next generation, not only of the MAGA movement, but of politics within the Republican Party more broadly.
Well, I want to go to Tom Yamas, who's on the floor for us this evening. And what was the moment like? You were right there amongst the crowd when we saw Donald Trump appear on that monitor.
Yeah, Savannah, I'm here with Ellen Cox, and I wanted to ask her about that moment, right? Because this is all about the delegates and the members of the Republican
Cody
Party that are here, the people who are going to
No,
vote
we know
for
what he
former
meant.
President Trump in November. Ellen, I was watching you. You were so excited when the president came in. Talk to me about the
Cody
moment you
Cox.
first saw him with the bandage
Cox,
appear on
Cox.
camera.
That just
Cody Cox.
absolutely filled my heart. And I mean, when he went down the other day, we didn't know if he was going to get back up. And the fact that
For the first
he reassured
5
us, and that fist in the air was reassurance. It was the fight, and it's the hope, and it's the fact that they're coming after us, but he's in the way. And he'll do anything for us,
they
and we'll do
did.
anything.
They literally did shoot. Like the shooter did shoot one of you guys, and he objectively was not in the way. His ear was, but like, you know what I mean? Like they shot the guy behind him.
Yeah.
So
Almost been killed.
Absolutely. And as a former military
think he's
member,
lost his wrist.
I know
His
I
ear
knew the
was his weak
sounds,
spot. His
and I
mum
know
dipped it in
how
the river Styx, holding
a
his ear.
centimeter, it could have been a completely different story. But God's had his hand on him, and he is here for it. He's going to save our country. And
What do you hope happens with the political rhetoric and this campaign going
dude,
forward?
Americans
after
love this shit. They love being like, man, these Muslim countries are such like barbaric, like weird religious guys, and then they will just, or they talk about like, you know, North Korea or whatever, and how much like Kim Jong-un gets glazed up dear leader praise, and then they just unironically do this where it's like, no, he has the divine right of kings. Actually, God touched him on that day. Okay, God touched him on that day. He bent the bullet.
The difference with Americans is
and
they
not
seem to get
violence.
redder and
You
redder
could
the more
talk
they
to former
praise him.
President Trump. What would you tell him tonight?
It's just
President
light
Trump,
up.
I have been working for you and behind you and doing anything I can to
He cannot hear
help
you.
you make America great since 2015. Thank you, sir, for everything you've done for us. We love you, and we are going to be doing everything to bring you to victory in November. And thank you, sir.
Ellen Cox, we appreciate it from Pennsylvania. Savannah, just a snippet of some of the emotion here, a snippet of some of the motivation here that's going to be so important for both parties as they head to the polls in November and as voting starts to get underway. Savannah?
And interesting to say hear her say the rhetoric's got to get less violent and less divisive on both sides, which perhaps will be a theme as we go ahead. We're going to take a break right here. We're waiting a speech by Amber Rose, who's an influencer and a model.
Who's that?
We also have the team.
Amber Rose dated Kanye West. She's like a sex worker.
The former President Trump badly wants. President Biden wants it too.
Does
He'll
love
be
sex
speaking
work.
as the
And
Republicans
is
focus
like
on the
now
economy.
pro-Trump.
Moments away, Donald Trump appearing as well.
At least
Right
she didn't
after
go
this.
as radical as Kanye.
I do love, yeah, that's true. I do love, well, Kanye was not that radical. He was running against Trump. He was running for president against Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like, technically. No, it's just like, dude, the Republican Party is so desperate for any kind of celebrity that they are just like, Turn on CNN. They're glazing him like it's Fox News. Wait, really?
Of gratitude, because as was said on this show, I mean, divine providence. I mean, we're a millimeter away from right now having a country and a party being in chaos. And
that's my boy.
That's
my fucking boy, dude.
You know, mark an era just the way the JFK assassination did in the 1960s. So we missed that by a millimeter. And now history's on a different path. And I think President Trump, not only he's uniting this party, but I think he actually, the language he's used in Saturday is talking about uniting the country, rewriting the speech for Thursday night about uniting the country. I know people haven't seen him that way, but when people go through a near-death experience, I think that these things can change people.
Do you think it's changed him?
Well, I think you saw him tonight walking in and listening to Lee Greenwood sing a song that he stood on the stage many, many times, but I think he certainly has to have an understanding and gratitude that, A, he's alive. He said that to all the people around him. He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, and he's sitting in that box. You know, when something like Saturday happens, it makes you realize how consequential a vice presidential pick, not that it always isn't, but how it is. He's sitting next to Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Obviously, you were also one of the finalists to be picked for vice president. How did you get the news today that you were not going to be the pick?
Well, I got a call and I had a great conversation with the president, and he's and he said, hey, Mr. Secretary, he's always been so positive and so considerate to Catherine and I this whole time. But as you know, Caitlin, we were never running for a cabinet position, never running to be VP. As a sitting governor, and I've got 152 days left of the greatest job in the nation, being governor of North Dakota right now. That was our focus, because another 4 years of Joe Biden for a state that produces natural resources and agriculture, the inflation that's affecting every one of our citizens, affecting everybody in America, the open borders affecting everyone in America. So Donald Trump's policies actually do lift up not just independents and Republicans, but Democrats as well. And I think this week is going to be a chance for people across the country to hear that.
So he called you Mr. Secretary. I mean, that sounds like he's teasing that he would want you in his cabinet. You told me previously that you were not open to taking a cabinet position. Is that still the case?
Well, there's going to be no cabinet positions that President Trump can get out unless he wins. So this is going to be a tight race for sure.
I've always said
fall.
this.
People may feel like it's a runaway today, but these things always tighten up. And I would just say there's going to be a lot of work to do between now and then, and that's going to be the focus. Anytime that I'm spending now is
the border from what Canadians? No, bro, South Dakotans. That's a big problem.
President Trump ends up back
big
in the
problem
White
in North
House.
Dakota
So
is
you're
the
saying
South Dakotans coming
don't
over the
take it for
border.
granted. It's not clear what's going to happen in this election. What do you think Donald Trump needs to do out on the campaign trail? If you were his running mate, what would your advice be over, because you and Senator Vance had very different reactions to what happened on Saturday. You were more in the camp of talking about unity and taking the temperature down. One of Senator Vance's initial posts within hours of the shooting was blaming President Biden in his rhetoric, even though there's no motive determined by the FBI yet. Which tack do you think Donald Trump should follow?
Well, I think President Trump himself has been talking about unity. It's been peace, unity, make America great again. He's added those words.
Trump is always talking about peace and
even what
unity.
he's putting out on his post right now, and I think that's the right message for us going forward.
That he literally said he's changing his entire RNC speech to talk about unity instead of whatever the fuck he was going to talk about.
Someone who grew up in a small town.
He literally said, everybody throw away your speeches. We're doing a new thing.
North, and with him having Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania in his backyard, I think he's a solid pick for the Trump-Vance ticket to have a sweep this fall.
Yeah, a lot of rivalries between Pennsylvania and Ohio, but we'll see what that looks like. Governor Burgum, thank you for joining us. I know it's been a very chaotic and busy day for you, so thank you for your time.
What if he really had an epiphany
Anderson,
after almost dying? I don't give a
Governor
shit.
Burgum for the first time since learning the vice presidential
If
pick
anything, it
earlier
would
today.
get worse.
Caitlin, thanks very much. Extraordinary to see the former president really the first time since we last saw him on that stage.
Yeah, he looked emotional to me. He looked humble. I mean, he had an interesting sort of look on his face, like he was soaking in all the United Republicans there. Can't really imagine what it's like to be in his position. I read today he said, "I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead." And so from that point forward, when you sort of internalize that, every day is a gift.
She was a bit
and he, to me, his facial expression, his body language showed a different kind of Donald Trump than we're used to seeing.
He's listening to Amber Rose right now. Let's listen in.
He said, shut the fuck up, Amber Rose speaking.
What does her forehead say?
I don't know.
Make America great again.
But I do want everyone to be reminded that Amber Rose fucked Kanye West in the butt, according to her own admission. Just so we understand, like, what's going on at the Republican National Convention right now. Amber Rose, by her own admission, put fingers in, or maybe even a dildo inside of Kanye West's ass.
On two.
That's hot.
Thank you.
There ain't nothing wrong with that from where I'm standing. I personally think it's insane that that person is currently speaking at the RNC addressing the motherfucking Republican presidential candidate.
And we weren't
Served
allowed to
over
go.
20 years in the U.S. military. Thank you for your service, Dad.
Like, what are you saying? This is a pro-sex work
I love you, Dad. I love
person
you.
who was at like the pussy, wearing a pussy
I
hat
love
at
you
the
so
fucking
much. Thank
women's
you.
march.
Oh my God.
Maybe he did have an epiphany and he's changed his mind.
When
Yeah,
I met
she's
the
the first to
president and
find
Melania
out.
for the first time, he was kind and generous and funny as hell.
That's his first
Very
real
funny.
smile.
The First Lady was gracious and smart with a smile that will brighten up any room. If you're watching this tonight, you know our country is in trouble. Just like me. When you go to the store and buy food for your family, you're shocked. When you fill up your gas tank, you're pissed. I know I am.
No, you're...
When your chauffeur fills up the gas tank.
And when you turn on the news, you are just exhausted.
Is she gonna talk about
Inflation
immigrants?
is out of control.
She's gonna be like,
And you know in your
goddamn
heart
migrants
it was not
coming
like
over the
this
border,
under Donald Trump.
taking black jobs, like pegging Kanye West. That should be me that's pegging Kanye West, not an undocumented Latino
My
man.
message to you tonight comes from a humble place. The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president.
Finger in the booty ass bitch. I'm gonna quote tweet this.
We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
Finger in the booty
A vote
ass
for Donald
bitch.
Trump is a vote to put money back in our pockets and good food on our kids' plates. Yes. Or, as Trump would say, it's a vote to make America great again. Thank you so much.
He's so happy.
Net worth 12 million. This bitch is crazy.
Please welcome Latino American Linda Fornos.
So,
who's that?
Listening to the speakers.
Please
this is
welcome
gonna go on
Latino American.
11 o'clock.
We got all of our minorities here. That's awesome. Listen, we had a black woman. We're going to have a Latino American now. We got them all. It's like Pokemon.
Moment tonight. This is what Donald Trump does best. He's the producer in chief. Him walking out, Lee Greenwood playing. And then first you're hearing from an everyday American talking, but then a social media influencer with 23 million followers who young people are looking at, and young voters are up for grabs.
No, absolutely no. You guys are so fucking stupid, CNN. Zero young people are like, oh, what's Amber Rose up to? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Yo, these people are so dumb. Oh my God, dude. Oh my fucking God. No young person is like, this is the first time Amber Rose has been relevant since like 2016 when she, openly admitted she stuck her finger in Kanye West's butthole and then did the slut walk thing. Okay. That's so stupid, bro. That's so dumb.
But that's the point. They have put someone on the stage who reaches into this whole group of Americans who are not necessarily engaged at all in our politics or in our civics. These kinds of voices, I heard some grousing about this from some of the conservatives. This is how you change the composition of the electorate.
Yeah,
Alex,
that was probably the most dangerous speak for the Democratic
CNN is
coalition.
so red right now.
That is
Yes.
a young woman of color. She's describing the experience a lot of people have, feeling that maybe if you're around too many liberals, you might get criticized too much, or you might not be able to speak your mind. And she spoke to it really well. And she's way more famous than any of us up here.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that, way more famous. And so To the extent that these guys are trying to bust up our coalition, that was a bunker buster right there.
By the way, and it's one of the things we've been talking about, but there are speakers who speak to the room, and there are speakers who speak through the television.
It is actually really reassuring to hear CNN glazing Trump. It kind of reaffirms all my high school opinions of CNN. But like as an international viewer since the 2000s, I assume CNN and Fox were the same channel. Like they kind of like came together in terms of international policy. It's nice to see them coming together again. You know?
Domestic policy too now.
Yeah,
We've always
yeah.
been together for international policy.
No, but I mean, like as a foreigner, I saw them as the same channel up
there's
until
never,
2016.
they've never had any division on that front. Now they're together on domestic policy as well.
And
as
she was, I mean, she was the most effective. You can be heard in the hall, but you're in somebody's living room. She understood that.
By the way, I'm sorry, but Vance was being like, Amber Rose is, you know, a young woman of color. It's like, bro, that's not what Amber Rose is, you know, there to do. Okay. You are just like leaning into the PR that the Republican Party is trying to do. Okay. She is a famous person with a net worth of $12 million who has dated like unimaginably famous and successful and wealthy people. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, you're talking about her like, you know, she's like an accountant in a firm or something. Like, yeah, she's just a regular black woman speaking here.
If they have a good digital
She is
operation,
a clout-obsessed, failing social media influencer, desperately trying to maintain relevancy.
Watching Trump come down that hallway, the way they set it up against Lee Greenwood, who, by the way, also 81 years old, looks pretty good and did a great job. But the way they choreographed that thing, the way they brought Trump out, you could not have done it any better. It was really, really well done. And then to me, I also just seeing the bandage. I mean, I was wondering how they were going to do it. It's pretty
He is terrific,
pretty real.
terrific at stagecraft, no question about it. And obviously, this is a moment, given what happened over the weekend, where just seeing him on camera is impactful and meaningful. And I think, as someone, I can't remember who was saying earlier, you know, anybody, even if you're not somebody who supports him, you can still see him in this moment and feel grateful that he was not killed on Saturday. So it's a
like,
a
why would anybody feel grateful
question-
seeing Donald Trump if they're not a fan of Donald Trump? Like, I want someone to explain this to me. Like, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, it's just like why? Why should anybody feel that way?
Kind of in the more traditional Republican mold. And so, you know, he has a lot of goodwill tonight. And I think the question is, what version of him do we see later this week?
I just want to say one thing. Just as a dad, seeing Don Jr.'s face. Don Jr. is
the only thing I'm grateful for is that if he fucking got killed, it would be bedlam. It would be chaos. It would be violence in the fucking streets because of the rabid base of support that he has. The only thing I'm happy about is the fact that, you know, a more competent Republican would ride the wave of martyrdom for Donald Trump in the immediate aftermath and would probably be a more efficient legislator on top of everything else.
Brotherhood of Teamsters.
Anyway, here's fucking Sean O'Brien. Goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle looking motherfucker. I can't believe him doing this. This is so fucked
I'd like
up.
to give my peeps from the greatest state in the nation, Massachusetts, some props. What's up?
That's awesome.
First,
you know who he is, right?
Yeah,
I want
he's
to
the
thank
voice
the
of leader of the
hardworking
Teamsters.
Teamsters and union members
amazing.
here in Milwaukee who play vital roles in the building and operations of this convention. I also want to thank President Donald Trump for opening the RNC's doors to the Teamsters Union and inviting me to speak before you tonight.
Maybe he'll say something cool.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna be like, y'all are fucking cowards and phonies. You do not care
All
about
across
labor.
this country and meet with my members every week. You know what I see? An American worker being taken for granted. Workers being sold out to big banks, big tech, corporates, and the elite. And I'm not the only one who sees this.
Donald Trump's vice
Everyday
presidential pick is
families
specifically for big bank and big tech.
people aren't stupid. They know
Elon Musk said he's
the
donating
system is
$75 million
We all
every
know
month
how
to Donald
Washington
Trump's
is
PAC,
run.
$45 million.
Working people have no chance of winning this fight. That's why I'm here today. Because I refuse to keep doing the same things my predecessors did.
What is he going to do now? What's the opposite?
Today, the Teamsters are here to say we are not beholden to anyone or any party.
Except for the convention that you're speaking at right now.
We will create an agenda and work with a bipartisan coalition ready to accomplish something real for the American worker.
What are you saying, bro?
It's an honor to be the first Teamster in our 121-year history to address the Republican National Convention.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Several months ago, I asked the RNC and the DNC for the opportunity to speak. To be frank, when President Trump invited me to speak at this convention, there was political unrest on the left and on the right. Hard to believe. Anti-union groups demanded the president rescind his invitation. The left called me a traitor.
Yeah, 'cause you are. You're a fucking idiot. That is an entire room full of people that would kill you if given the opportunity.
Why
You
it's so
fucking
important
dumbass.
for me here
Oh my
today.
God.
Think about this. Think about this. The Teamsters are doing something correct. If the extremes in both parties think I shouldn't be on this stage.
You are literally a labor leader. You are
President
a labor
Trump
leader. When they mean extremes on both parties, they mean you. You fucking, you
convention,
dumbass, you
and that's
stupid bald
unprecedented.
monkey. Oh my God.
No other nominee in the race would have invited the Teamsters into this arena. Now,
I'm gonna
you can
light
have
my
whatever opinion
Teamsters
you
don't
want,
cross picket lines.
but one thing is clear.
Sticker on fire.
President Trump is a candidate who is not afraid of hearing from new, loud, and often critical voices. And I think we all can agree, whether people like him or they don't like him,
Hey, look at this.
in light of what happened to him on Saturday, he has proven to be one tough SOB.
Donald Trump and the Republican Party have never done anything even remotely positive for any labor union ever, even on accident. What a fucking absolute charlatan, dude.
Now, when I won the presidency of the Teamsters in a national election 2.5 years ago, we started reaching across the aisle. In the past, the Teamsters have endorsed GOP candidates, including Nixon, Reagan, and George H.W.
Right.
Bush. But over the last 40 years,
Bro just presenting his L's from the worst era.
strong relationships with organized labor. There are some in the party who stand in active opposition to labor unions.
Just so you understand, this guy's entire shtick was supposed to be that, like, it's a different Teamsters now. It is not the old Teamsters. Alongside with the UAW, like, there was reform happening in both of these
not
unions.
Interested if you have a
I
D,
guess not.
R, or an I next to your name. We want to know one thing. What are you doing to help American workers? As a negotiator, I know that no window or door should ever be permanently shut. In my administration, the Teamsters reached out to 8 Republican senators who stood up for railroad Teamsters over our fight for paid sick leave. Josh Hawley was one of them.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
We started talking. Senator Hawley changed his position on national right to work. Then we started walking. Senator Hawley walked a Teamsters picket line in St. Louis and a UAW picket line in Wentzville, Missouri. More than that, I want to recognize Senator Hawley for his direct, relentless, and pointed questioning of corporate talking heads, lawyers, CEOs, and apologists. He has shown he is not willing to accept their pillaging of working people's pocketbooks.
He's such a fucking dumbass, dude. I'm sorry.
I
He's
know
just, I gotta,
from a
I
career
gotta
in
text some people.
negotiating that you get nowhere by slamming your fist on the table. The first step is to listen. The Teamsters and the GOP may not agree on many issues, but a growing group has shown the courage to sit down and consider points of view that aren't funded by big money think tanks. Senators like J.D. Vance, Roger Marshall,
Vance
and
pro-union.
Representatives Nicole
There you go.
Malliotakis, Mike Lawler, and Brian Fitzpatrick are among elected officials who truly care about working people.
What?
And this group is expanding and is putting fear into those who have monopolized our very broken system in America today. There are far too many people on both sides of the aisle still caught up in knee-jerk reactions to unions, who subscribe to the same tired claptrap that unions destroy American companies. Take a moment to consider United Parcel Service, which is the largest private sector logistics company, and it's been unionized for more than 100 years. More than 350,000 Teamsters make it run. We work for good middle-class wages, quality health care, and secure pensions. There are work rules that ensure fairness and due process for both sides. UPS is the most efficient package delivery company in the world. But let's not forget that UPS doesn't provide these great wages and benefits out of the kindness of its heart. UPS does it because the Teamsters fight for it, all 350,000 of us. You know, corporatists hate when working people join together to form unions. But for a century, major employers have waged a war against labor by forming corporate unions of their own. We need to call the Chamber of Commerce and the business roundtables what they are. They are unions for big business. And here's another fact. Against gigantic multinational corporation, an individual worker has zero power. It's only when Americans band together in democratic unions that we win real improvements on wages, benefits, and working conditions.
Wait a minute.
Companies like
I'm big
Amazon
business.
are bigger than most national economies. Amazon is valued over $2 trillion. That makes it the 14th largest economy
They stopped
in the
clapping
world.
when he started talking about
What
workers'
is
wages,
sickening
dude.
is that Amazon has abandoned
Read the room, you
any
stupid
national
bald
allegiance.
fuck.
Amazon's sole focus is on lining its own pockets. Remember, elites have no party, elites have no nation. Their loyalty is to the balance sheet and to the stock price at the expense of the American worker. In my office in Washington, D.C., I can see the United States Capitol from my window. I see well-intentioned people arrive in Washington and get eaten up by an unforgiving system. The responsibility to average Americans takes a back seat. The objective now becomes survival. Fundraiser after fundraiser, corporate consultants hedge every initiative. The Hill crawls with lifers, bouncing from government jobs to corporate jobs and back again. I think we can all agree D.C. is a pretty treacherous area. Most legislation is never meant to go anywhere, and it's all talk. And in America, talk isn't cheap. It's very expensive, and it comes at the cost of our own country.
Guys, Sean O'Brien is a MAGA communist.
No, our system is broken.
Sean
The
O'Brien
elites
is
are
a
not
Jackson Hinkledink fan.
Workers. There is a political caste system that prevents citizens from accessing their representatives to hold them accountable. For a moment in time,
Everyone's getting pretty silent. It's so
working
good.
people in America were seen as essential. Sadly, it took a global pandemic for political and corporate elites to notice this fact. But ask yourself this question. Since the end of the pandemic, when was the last time you heard major news outlets regularly refer to workers as essential? You haven't. The men and women who provide goods and services, deliver packages, stock grocery shelves, care for patients, pick up your trash, and keep our communities safe are taken for granted.
Our
All
brothers
the
and
while,
sisters and our
the
local
stock
teamsters that are
market
watching this in
boomed,
horror.
housing prices
Yeah, I don't think the
hit
rank and
record
file
highs,
is going to
and
appreciate
corporate
this.
salaries skyrocket.
Like the
But
Teamsters
the
had a lot of
income
right wingers in them, but like there's definitely a
are
shit
shrinking
ton of
in the
leftists
face
in the Teamsters, of
inflation.
course.
At the gas pumps, at the grocery
People
store,
that voted
with
for
the
him.
electrical bill, and with the car insurance. This has got to change. Never forget.
God, Sean Fain is so much
American
cooler.
workers
It's not even
own
funny.
This nation. We are not renters. We are not tenants. But the corporate elite treat us like squatters, and that is a crime. We've got to fix it.
Rank and file checking in. This is
Now,
fucking
this'll
horrendous, and I
shock
can't
you.
wait to vote him out. It's
This'll shock
insane what
you.
he's doing.
To paraphrase Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, it's time for both sides of Congress to stand their
The
butts
democracy
up.
reform movement worked with Sean O'Brien to pass some really good reforms in the union, and it's continued to grow. I don't see him going anywhere, though. They've won a lot of good
policies
contracts.
that
Yeah,
put American workers
he
first.
fights like hell, for sure.
It needs to be easier.
He's a great leader for his
companies
union.
to
This,
remain
not so
in
much.
America. We need legal protections that make it safer for workers to get a contract.
That's why Trump
we
is-
must stop corporations.
He's gonna push
from
for the
abandoning
PRO Act.
local communities to inflate their bottom line. We need
Trump is going to
meaningful-
institute CAD check.
Today, corporate vultures buy up
Alongside
companies
JD fucking
like Yellow
Vance,
Freight
dude.
with the intent of driving them into bankruptcy and feasting on their remains. The courts leave workers begging for crumbs as third-tier creditors. Labor law must be reformed. Americans vote for a union but can never get a union contract. Companies fire workers who try to join unions and hide behind toothless laws that are meant to protect working people but are manipulated to benefit corporations. This
He's not endorsing them, dude.
economic
He's speaking at the RNC and not speaking at the
An
DNC.
individual cannot
Are you
withstand
insane?
Such an assault.
He also refused to endorse Biden, which is fine. But like, if you go and speak at the RNC, you're functionally saying, you know,
There are
Trump
no
might be my guy.
consequences for the company, only the worker. We need corporate welfare reform. Under our current system,
Someone just said Kai just broke his setup, and I'm in my mind, in my head canon, I'm assuming Kai Cenat broke his setup because he's so angry that Sean O'Brien is talking at the RNC.
these companies offer no real health insurance, no retirement benefits.
Kai
no
Cenat is a
paid leave,
champion of labor.
Relying on underfunded public assistance. And who foots the bill? The individual taxpayer. The biggest recipients of welfare in this country are corporations, and this is real corruption.
I was given the longest speech so
We
far.
must put workers first. What could be more important to the security of our nation than a long-term investment in the American worker? In 2021, Teamsters nationwide
This is 100%
elected me to
correct.
fight for them, and that's precisely what I'm doing. Something is wrong in this country, and we need to say it out loud. I will always speak for America and the American worker, both union and non-union.
I thought he would have been. I thought he would have said like immigrant labor is like hurting unions or
Each and every
something.
one of you, and especially my friends on the Democratic side, to embrace cooperation.
Yeah, he's salting. He's salting the RNC.
To achieve meaningful and productive change, to ensure we make this great nation in this world the bigger, faster, and strongest nation in the entire world. I love this country. The Teamsters love this country. Our 1.3 million members move America on the roads, in the ports, on the rail, and in the air. And at the end of the day, if the powers to be stop me from raising my voice on behalf of American workers, I will not have one single regret. I still carry my commercial driver's license. I still have my place on the union seniority
This makes
list.
me so sad.
You'll find me back
because,
in
like, I don't
Boston.
give a fuck about the Democratic Party, but I do care about
Equipment
him.
for
I do
Shaughnessy
care about
Ahern.
one of the
Because I
largest
have
labor
the
unions in North
protection
America.
Of
Like,
a union contract
that
that
makes
gives
this actually
me
is very
the freedom
depressing.
to speak my mind and to fight like hell. God bless the greatest nation. Thank you very much.
Is he speaking at the DNC as well? This guy's twice the leftist you'll ever be. I mean,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
please welcome back RNC Chairman Michael Whatley.
That was interesting. I got a text in the middle of that from a Republican congressman saying that he had to check to make sure he was at the Republican convention, not the Democratic convention. That was Sean O'Brien, president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, making an appeal.
when the brown
to
sheds blow my brains
the
across my dashboard, I will be smiling. when the anti-labor Gestapo come knocking down my doors and start killing rank and file Teamsters for demanding more from their companies, I will know I did the right thing. Endorsing Josh Hawley, the wonderful senator from Missouri, who said right to work override fails in Missouri House. Time for an end to union-backed candidates in the GOP. Hashtag change is coming. Hashtag right to work. The speech wasn't bad. It was at the wrong place. I mean, the speech wasn't bad, yes, but let Alexa make jokes, please. Alexa, you have any jokes?
I
mean, what
say,
the fuck? What
I'm
is he
too
gonna?
sad.
What is he gonna say about like domestic labor disputes here? Yeah, wrong place, wrong names, delusional. Like, if he went into the Lions Den and was like, "Listen, you guys need to do better. You guys need to fucking do better."
Instead, he was like, JD Vance really cares for workers.
Yeah. Instead of, he could have just said, there's 48 Senate sponsors of the PRO Act. They're all Democrats. No Republicans. What the fuck's that about? He said, I'm riding with Hawley. I love his pectorals. Hawley, not gay. Loves his wife. He's not gay except for, we've kissed a little. And he kisses real well. Twitter isn't loading and I can't find the news anywhere. If you know, Amazon Coventry managed to unionize it. I don't know. I never expected to hear this line at the RNC. The biggest recipients of welfare in this country are corporations, and this is real corruption. Applause from TV seemed tepid. Yeah, I mean, it's just like not even a thing, dude. It's not even a thing. Like, Donald Trump stacked the NLRB with anti-union appointees who side with employers in contract disputes and support companies who delay and stall union elections, misclassify workers to take away their freedom to join a union, silence workers. Like, the Republican Party historically, including the fucking candidates that he said the Teamsters endorsed proudly, from Nixon, Reagan, and George H.W. Bush, are you fucking insane? Like, Ronald Reagan, America's famous union destroyer, okay? That is actually fucking wild. Like, no one said Teamsters were intelligent. Shrug. That's insane. That's disrespectful to the fucking all the rank and filers that are probably losing their minds right now, watching their fucking leader speak to the Republican National Convention. Yeah, Vance got owned. I know. I showed that earlier. It's like all you needed was like
still-
Republicans to be like, yeah, we like unions actually.
But that is their case.
If that were true, I don't know that the president of the International Brotherhood of
little
Teamsters
bit.
would be speaking at the Republican National Convention.
Well, that's exactly what this showcases is Joe Biden's problem, because Teamsters endorsed President Biden in 2020, and the idea that he is a Teamsters leader has never spoken at a Republican convention, and to see Sean O'Brien
Not
take
at least
the
in
stage
121
here-
years.
Okay, thank you for that count. So I think that just speaks to the moment.
Let me just interrupt for 1 second. I want to go to Phil Mattingly on the floor, and then we'll come back and keep talking. Phil?
You know, Jake, as you guys kind of walk through the dynamics of the speech and what we actually heard, watching the former president, watching the people in the VIP box who did not sit down the entire speech, who, when Sean O'Brien said he'd been the first Teamsters president to speak to a Republican convention and 121 years, it was Byron Donalds, who has been sitting next to the former president, who slapped Trump's arm and said, "That's huge. That's huge." It was Tucker Carlson sitting to the right of Byron Donalds, who was pumping his fists the entire time. And you contrast that with where the rest of the party is, particularly on this issue, but also the same party that's holding fundraisers with corporations and large donors over the course of this entire week. I think we all know that's such a central part of this process. That was a speech that was for Sean O'Brien a moment to take advantage of. It was a speech for the former president, who sees a clear ability to peel off the union vote in a significant way on the rank and file side of things. And it was also, I think, a window into a realignment on the policy of the Republican Party, a policy that J.D. Vance, while not fully kind of in the Josh Hawley model.
Yeah, dude, they're also going to do pro-trans legislation. Like, we should bring up Caitlyn Jenner to talk at the RNC.
Say, Speaker Mike Johnson, who was also sitting in that box, who very much represents kind of a Wall Street Journal editorial board, kind of traditional establishment Republican economic ideology. And so just the entire contrast of listening to the speech, watching Sean O'Brien, definitely getting the Dorchester versus Medford, John King versus Sean O'Brien accents going there.
Saying that LGBTQ people shouldn't be glad. What? People shouldn't be glad that Trump survived is basically the same logic as saying LGBTQ people shouldn't be supporting Palestine because Islam is against homosexuality and LGBTQ community in general. Brother, Christians are against homosexuality and LGBTQ community in general as well. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, the fuck? Did you just compare Donald Trump, a war criminal in every fucking right, to like random Palestinian children and shit? Like, what are we talking about right now? What's going on? Being fucking annihilated by an ethno state? That's got to be bait, right? Are you okay? Stop getting one guy. That was a wild take, dude. Do you think Sean O'Brien's been paid off? I don't know. I want to hope that, like, I want to maintain my posture that, like, Sean O'Brien is actually secretly doing something five-head. Great speech, guys. Great speech, okay? Yeah. Yeah, Sean O'Brien is going to dramatically alter the course of history and get the Republican Party that is openly on the side of corporations to retriangulate. Yeah. J.D. Vance, who Sean O'Brien says he likes, is literally like, he is a Silicon Valley tech guy. He's bringing VC money. The room is silent when he talked. I texted her that. That's my text message to her. I like that the chatter sent that back to me, though. It was like, yeah, this is great about the tone of the voice in the room. To be fair, I have leaked her text messages in the past, so. The only change this has is the same amount of times RNC double checks their speaker list. This Teamster doesn't support Republican union busters like Trump and Vance. Yeah. Teamsters are trying to start a bidding war between two parties that want them gone. I don't even think that's fair. I think that, like, Democrats, there is, at least on this issue, like, Democrats are fucking shitty. They're cowardly. They're not exactly super big fans of labor, but like, they have done more objectively for labor than the Republicans have. Like, that's not, I don't know. I don't think that's controversial to say. Like, even judging this by the metrics that Sean O'Brien used to say that, like, Josh Hawley, for example, is a supporter of labor unions, like, Democrats do that on a weekly basis. Aesthetically posturing, going to picket lines, like, those are things that Democrats do so much that, like, it seems like Sean O'Brien is taking it for granted. Like, I don't understand it. The only reason why I originally, when he met with Trump like a while ago, a couple months back, when I said this is weird, why the fuck's he doing this? I thought maybe he is. I thought maybe he's doing it because he thinks Joe Biden is going to lose, and he wants to make sure that he's like in good, I don't know, has a good relationship with Donald Trump. But like, Donald Trump is never going to be pro-labor. Like, he's never, like, there is no 5D chess here because Donald Trump is an immovable object on this issue. You're witnessing the beginning of the next party realignment. If you think that the Republican Party is going to realign for labor, you are insane. The Republican Party is going to realign for labor, and what's next? Trans rights? Voting rights? Like, what are we talking about? Like, there is no fucking realignment, dude. The only thing that they're going to align is a bullet to the head of labor leaders if they have the opportunity. You're witnessing the next Ronald Reagan? Yeah, exactly. Great. You're right. Which he mentioned, by the way. Ronald Reagan was single-handedly a devastating force for labor unions in this fucking country, for labor rights in this fucking country.
You saw it with Amber Rose. You saw it with the head of the Teamsters. The head of the Teamsters.
A lot of union workers are pro-Trump. I don't give a shit. Yeah, they're fucking stupid. Like, what do you want me to say? Just because someone is in a fucking union doesn't mean that they're like magically this infallible object that is never worthy of criticism. Yeah, I know. And also, it's not a lot of rank and filers. It's not the majority of rank and filers. Okay, the majority of rank and filers across the board vote Democrat. That is also a lie that Republicans love to fucking advance for some weird reason. Just like claiming that moneyed interests on the side of Democrats is also a lie. The majority of donations for moneyed interests still go to the Republican Party, even though they do hedge their bets, and the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both corporatist parties. Okay? I think the last poll was 37% of union workers are Republican, which is still pretty fucking high. Okay? That's still pretty high. You know, it's crazy. Having said that, however, you're crazy if you think that like rank and file union members across the board are just going crazy for the Republican Party. You don't know what Teamsters want? How many Teamsters do you know? I bet I know more than you. You know what's really funny about that? This is like the one labor union that I am in close contact with on a regular fucking basis. That and the UAW, as a matter of fact. So no, you're wrong. There are a shit ton of Teamsters in my chat. Not only that, but also I do talk to a shit ton of labor union organizers in the Teamsters. So shut the fuck up. I know more than you. I'm a Teamster. Okay, dude. You're still a dumbass Teamster then. Yeah, but Trump isn't a normal Republican. It doesn't matter on the issue of, no, first of all, Trump is a normal Republican. He's just abnormal in the sense that he's like super narcissistic and doesn't necessarily care about like the party's future as much as he cares about his own personal future. But like, that is so stupid. That is so stupid when you talk specifically about Donald Trump's policies. Donald Trump's top of the line policy papers are just directly ripped from the fucking Heritage Foundation. Okay? That's so dumb. Anyway, I do attack plenty of teamsters at the top of the fucking hour, though. You know, when there's a 3-minute ad break. Like, Trump is notorious for fucking over non-unionized labor all the time. He's like notoriously a person who doesn't pay his workers and shit. What the fuck? Why are your chatters looking for an excuse? No, it's not my chatters. There's like some random people who are chirping in the chat, but that doesn't mean my chatters are actually fucking across the board. Honestly, this week feels like landslide territory for Trump is more and more likely. We'll see.